Welcome everyone to Not That Media. My name is John, and in this new series of videos entitled The 12 Scares of Christmas, starting December Friday the 13th, 2024 and running till Christmas Eve, I'm going to be giving you 12 film recommendations, all of them Christmas movies, all of them horror, some a little scarier than others, some a little bit more family friendly, something for everyone I hope. I've made this list, I've checked it twice, you better watch out and I hope you're ready to slay, because come along with me as I start The 12 Scares of Christmas. In 2024's Terrifier 3, following the shocking events of Terrifier 2, survivor Sienna is plagued by disturbing visions and begins to realise there's no escaping her past or outrunning Art the Clown. Sadistic Art the Clown is back, of course, and he's more twisted than ever, determined to shatter the peace Sienna and her family have fought so hard to regain, dragging them back into a depraved and insidious living nightmare. With a thirst for chaos and a mind twisted by pure evil, Art the Clown unleashes his biggest and bloodiest wave of horror yet, forcing Sienna to face her fears once again in an epic fight for survival. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good fright. Here we go again, the 12 Scares of Christmas, my sequel video series to the 31 Days of Halloween. If you're new here, firstly, thank you for finding and watching my channel. Please do like and subscribe and go back and check out the many other videos. I believe at the time of recording this is video number 80, if not 80 to 81. So go and check out those. I think there's a little something for everybody. Theme parks, horror, a little bit of Doctor Who, physical media, hauls, etc. Even a coffin club. So if you're new here, I'd like to think there's something for everyone. If you are a returning viewer, once again, thank you for your support. I was really happy with the level of engagement I received from my 31 Days of Halloween, and hopefully I will receive similar during the 12 Scares of Christmas. Now, let's be perfectly honest, if you are new to horror or old to horror, if you're a gore hound or somebody who just wants to dip their toe this holiday season into something a little bit scary, it's dark outside, close the curtains, get wrapped up in those blankets to stay warm, and let's watch something a bit scary. Hopefully there's something to cater for all of you and a couple of surprises. But let's be totally honest, everybody. It is Christmas 2024, and unless you've been living under a rock for the last 3 months, there is only one horror film that everybody's talking about, everyone's going to be watching in the horror community, and that is, of course, no spoilers, because of course you've seen the thumbnail, Terrifier 3. Art the Clown continues his reign of terror in the world of cinema by taking on Christmas. So whilst Terrifier 1 and 2 deserve to be recognised for their success, it was nothing compared to Terrifier 3. Terrifier 1 came out, I think 2016, straight to DVD, straight to streaming, and Damien Leone wrote, directed, did the practical effects, did the makeup effects for Art the Clown. It was his design, totally his idea. He brought Art the Clown to the screen, played by the fantastic David Howard Thornton. And basically, the first film is a good film. It's not a great film, not to go too much into detail with every film because I want to keep these videos short. Terrifier 1 simply was designed to introduce Art the Clown. There's very little story, there's very little character development. Effectively, Art the Clown goes out on Halloween with his garbage bag full of toys and decides to set his sight on, to begin with, a couple of girls coming home from a Halloween party. There is a fantastic scene in a pizzeria which is so tense and so creepy and so frightening. If you're looking to see a flavour of what that film's about, I would Google that first. I would simply YouTube Art the Clown pizzeria scene, and it will tell you everything you need to know about why I love that film. It was recognised for its heavy level of gore. It has a kill that at the time was considered one of the most barbaric and horrible things of time, but of course with the sequels that's quickly been followed up. Terrifier 2 followed a couple of years later. Because of the success of the video on demand and DVD sales, etc., Terrifier 2 was able to get a very limited theatrical release, but over here in the UK, once again, straight to DVD, apart from isolated pockets of theatrical runs. Terrifier 2 came along. It is a longer film. It is a better film. It gives us our heroine, Sienna, and her brother Jonathan, and it starts to build on the lore and the mythology. It also introduces an entity into the franchise known as the Pale Girl, who is one of my favourite characters of the trio, but it's all once again Art the Clown. And I would argue, and I was having this conversation recently, not an argument but a conversation, that I think if you're looking for a spectrum of violence, Terrifier 2 I think pushes the level of violence to the absolute maximum. If you can sit through Terrifier 2, there's probably not a lot else you can sit through, because Art the Clown, whilst he is a clown and he's silly and he is funny, there is a level of anger and hatred and just absolute absolute barbarity in Terrifier 2 that I don't think Damien Leone decided to take the foot off the brake a little bit, but I think that as Art the Clown's star rises, he's not going to get away with quite as much as he becomes more of a pop icon over here in the UK and certainly in America. So Terrifier 2 came and went, and it was, as I say, had a good amount of success. The media did jump on it a little bit. There were reports of people throwing up in the cinema, people running out, religious groups wanting to shut the film down and condemn it. So it had a brief splattering for a couple of weeks, but it came and went and got forgotten about, outside of the horror community, of course. In the horror community, Damien Leone, David Howard Thornton are recognised as modern day icons, and I was very lucky to meet both Sienna, Jonathan, the girl who is the singer from the Clown Cafe. I've met Damien Leone, the writer, producer, makeup artist, etc. And I was really fortunate before the real Art the Clown boom happened. And this isn't, I'm not sitting here saying, oh wow, look at me, but I had the fantastic honour of, just before it really started to explode over here in the UK, for the love of horror, the convention managed to get Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, not only to do a signing, but also a in-costume character photo op. So I have the very great pleasure to be able to say that, because David Howard Thornton is a very good actor, in that when you meet the man, he's very nice, cordial, big smile, so appreciative, a fan of the franchises and other franchises himself. This is clearly a nice guy who you want to sit and maybe have a drink with. Walking into the costume op and coming face to face with Art the Clown, he's in character when you meet him, by the way, people, if you're trying to meet him or you get the opportunity to. That was a very, very interesting experience, and certainly my face on the photo reflected that. The photo looks really nice and really fun. It's one of my favourites, but coming face to face with Art the Clown, the silent killer, jumping up and down, waving, honking at you, it is a unpleasant experience in a very good way. So again, after Terrifier 2, it kind of came and went, and in the horror franchise, everyone knew Art the Clown, there was cosplayers, etc. But 2024, Art the Clown absolutely exploded, and Terrifier 3 has become a household name, and as has Art the Clown himself. I'm going to make a very big proclamation here, but I genuinely believe this, and the last 12 weeks of sales, items, merchandise, appearances, all the stuff you can find, not since Freddy Krueger in the 1980s has a character, a horror icon, who is responsible for the most evil, deplorable, nasty kills that you can come up with. Art the Clown is a household name now. His face is everywhere. Art Mania has repeated Freddy Mania's success in the 80s. So I think as a horror fan, it is wonderful that we have a character like Art the Clown who has become a household name. There are people out there who are not horror fans, do not know horror. You show them a picture of Art the Clown, they know who Art the Clown is. He's in music videos, you've got the Pops, as I say, you've got the Art Krispies toys and all this kind of stuff. He's in video games, he has his own video game coming out in 2025. Michael Myers has been around for 45 years and has only just got his first proper video game, not that Atari nonsense, but a proper video game and not a cameo in Call of Duty or anything like that before anyone comments. A full game about Halloween, and he's sharing that with Ash Williams from The Evil Dead. So Art the Clown, in terms of a license to print money, my God, 2024 is a big payday for somebody, is what I would say, and long may it continue. Terrifier 3 is a fantastic film, and that's why I wanted to start with it, because let's be honest, like I say, everyone's going to be talking about it, everyone's going to be documenting it, everyone's going to be vlogging it, everyone's going to be doing their deep dive analyses, doing their unboxing videos. Check out my unboxing video coming December 16th for my Terrifier 3. There are so many different versions of this film coming out in physical media. It is insane that this little film that cost only about $2 million has gone on to make $90 million in 3 months. This is one of, if not the most successful independent horror film ever made. So, why do we want to watch it, and why do we want to recommend it? So in this video series, I am not here to spoil films, and certainly Terrifier 3 has now left the theatres, other than isolated pockets of Christmas-related showings at certain cinemas, but the physical copy is not due out until December the 16th and December the 17th in America. This is available on video on demand. The Sky Store, once again, just to go over this, the Sky Store has been heavily promoting the fact that they have Terrifier 3 to rent and buy. When I looked into it, I wouldn't rent it, I'd buy it physically, but to To rent was, I think, £11.99, and to buy it digitally was £16.99. I am not paying those kind of prices, but once again, it just goes to show, if you're like me and you're going through your streaming platforms and you find these horror films, how many of those are buy it now at £4.99, £6.99? This thing's a juggernaut. Sorry, and I'm going on about it, but this thing is absolutely out of control. So my point is you do have the ability to see this film. You can buy it digitally. You may be like me waiting for the physical copy to come along, and you may have been lucky enough to see it in the cinema. So this thing has been around for 3 months. I'm not going to spoil it though. What I would say, of course, though, is this: the scene I'm going to be talking about as part of my recommendation is quite literally the opening scene. I'm not going to be talking about any of the other kills, any of the other information. So I'm going to tell you about the first 4 minutes of this movie. So if you're happy for the first 4 minutes to be spoiled, to give you an idea of what this film's all about, please continue watching. If not, maybe you want to pause it, watch it, and then come back. But in my opinion, one of the greatest things about all three Terrifier films is when it presents Art the Clown, not as the silly, miming, giggling, jumping up and down, doing silly waves character, but each film presents one scene, and it is always only one scene, where Art the Clown is truly terrifying. He is sinister. He goes against his usual kind of, I'm walking from one place to another. Oh, there's someone for me to kill. Oh, I'm now here. Oh, wouldn't it be fun if I did this kind of a situation? These three scenes are very, very orchestrated, preconceived in Art the Clown's head. So in the first film, it's the pizzeria scene. In the second film, which I covered on my 31 Days of Halloween, it is the scene when Sienna is in the shop buying her wings. And in this film, for me, the opening of Terrifier 3 is my favourite Art the Clown scene. Now, this is not a situation where you watch the first 4 minutes and I turn it off. The film is spectacular. Terrifier 3, in my opinion, is the best of the three. It looks the best, it sounds the best, the kills are arguably the best, in my humble opinion. The character development is the best, the lore development is the best, the level of stakes being raised is so much better than Terrifier 1 and 2. The cameo appearances from the likes of Clint Howard and a couple of others who I won't mention is fantastic. So Terrifier 3 for me was firing on all cylinders and is definitely the best of the trilogy. But anyway, the scene that I in question is the opening scene, and the little girl, we join a family and there is a little girl who is hearing banging on the roof. She goes to her mum to say, Santa's on the roof, Santa's on the roof, and her mum, obviously, you know, because it's kids and silliness, goes, oh no, go back to bed, don't worry, it's not, if you're not asleep, Santa won't come, and all these kind of things. She then proceeds to go to get, I believe, a glass of water. I should just preface this by saying that I am going from memory, so if details are slightly out, obviously please don't just jump on me. I am going to hit the main beat, but the reason she goes downstairs, in my mind, is to get a glass of water. As she goes to the bottom of the stairs, the mother notices that the front door has been left open. So she walks over, frustrated, pushes the door, gets her glass of water and goes back upstairs. As she gets in bed, what I assume to be not the father of her children, but maybe a boyfriend, is clearly very drunk and asleep, and she gives him the nudge and says, you left the front door open once again, and to which he kind of basically comes on the lines of, shut up, beat it, I've got to get up in a couple of hours, you know, these things happen. And she says, look, you know, we're going to get robbed one of these days. Meanwhile, the little girl hears the thump again, and so she goes to her brother's room and says, Santa's here, Santa's here, and the brother, of course, is like, no, don't be stupid, go to bed, go back to bed. So she goes downstairs to discover Santa Claus himself standing with his back to the camera and to the little girl, and everything looks okay, but the music is telling us something very different. We then see the head snap very slightly, and the eagle-eyed people will notice that it is clearly not Santa Claus, it is Art the Clown. So this little girl runs away in fear, or knowing something is wrong, and we then witness the fact that this is Art the Clown. His black garbage bag has now been replaced by a red, more festive one. He's dressed as Santa, he has somebody's skinned beard under his chin, and he is here to deliver presents. When he opens the bag and pulls out a gigantic axe, you just know something really bad is going to happen. The little girl has hidden, and Art the Clown, and this is why I love this scene, Art the Clown very slowly, very methodically just walks through the room, and he goes upstairs. There's very little noise, there's very little going on, but there is the thud of the boots, the Santa boots going up the stairs, a dum, dum, dum. And we can see Art the Clown going upstairs, and we watch him go into a room which is clearly the brother's room because we saw the little girl come out of it, and we don't see anything. All we hear is a succession of thwacks, some very wet sounds, some very nasty bang sounds, and then we hear the dum, 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 as Art the Clown proceeds to slowly and casually walk out and then go into the parents' bedroom. The little girl looking up, obviously, trying to work out what's going on, and then we cut to the parents in the bedroom. The wife is sleeping back to back with the partner. Art the Clown thuds his way in slowly, methodically, stands next to the bed, next to the male character, and proceeds to slam the axe straight into his back. We see it this time, obviously, when we're talking about child death, and I'll talk about that in a moment, the film does shy away from that a little bit, but when it comes to showing the drunk father figure character who left the front door unlocked, you see that axe go straight into his spine. The wife seems to think that he's rolling around or messing around. So when she turns over and realizes there's blood all over the place, she is then privy to seeing Art the Clown slamming this axe into her partner, doing the silent laugh and everything and the point and all this kind of stuff. And she proceeds to run out as quickly as she can as he stands there kind of laughing and doing all this kind of stuff, terrifying stuff. She slams the door and he proceeds to come after her. In the meantime, she runs to her son's room only to find in a very quick shot the eviscerated corpse of her little boy all over the room. Absolutely terrifying. It's a couple of seconds and it's gone. She then runs to her little girl's room to realise that the little girl is gone. By this point, Art the Clown is out in the corridor. She runs down the stairs, and of course she can't get out the front door because she locked the front door. So Art the Clown, as she's scrambling to get through the locks, comes down the stairs and proceeds to butcher her. We then have this fantastic scene where we jump from this absolute image of terror to Art the Clown with his feet on the table, dipping the cookies, drinking the milk, and having a little smile to himself and a look around. He then proceeds to go and clean up. He washes the plates, he washes the milk bowl, the milk cup, and he puts it all away. He pats his stomach like, okay, great, because there's a weird domestication to Art the Clown, which I haven't really spoken about, but go and watch Terrifier 2 and you'll see what I'm talking about. And as he's about to go, he's heading towards the front room to pick up his carrier bag of, his garbage bag of tools. He hears a noise and he realises there's somebody else in the house. We then cut to this poor little girl frightened in the cupboard, and the cupboard opens. Art the Clown looks down, big smile, reaches straight for the camera, cut to Terrifier 3 credit. It is an amazingly effective opening in my opinion. The reason being is, it's safe to say one of the things that I find about horror films, and I try to explain to people, is for me, it's not about the axe-wielding maniac. It's not about the gore and the violence. It's just about that concept that it could happen. Now, I am guilty of this. There's probably people out there who are guilty of this, but just take a second before I go any further to think, how many times have you accidentally forgotten to lock your front door or lock your back door? Okay, you've taken that second, just keep that in your mind. So I've been guilty of it. So a few days after watching Terrifier 3, I was having a restless night and I woke up and I had this moment where I kind of thought, did I lock the front door? And I had this real cold sensation. Now, I did not expect a 6-foot clown in a Santa Claus outfit to come up my stairs with an axe, but I think the terror of this opening scene is grounded in this reality. Strip away Art the Clown the monster, strip away the Christmas lights, strip away the Christmas beard and all that kind of stuff, but the idea that you could accidentally forget to lock your door and anyone could walk in is so terrifying. Take that terror already and then amplify it by saying, rather than it just being some common criminal or robber, it's Art the Clown and he's coming in dressed as Santa Claus to deliver to you some Christmas mayhem in the form of an axe in your face and back. Food for thought, some would say, about home security. I absolutely love this scene. I strongly recommend it. I recommend this film really well. I think if you are a fan of Christmas horror films, there are so many Easter eggs, so many nods, so many winks to different horror films. Black Christmas is in there left, right and centre. I absolutely love Terrifier 3. I wanted to start with it. Let's get it out of the way so the algorithm can do its magic while everybody else is talking about Terrifier 3. If you haven't seen this film, you probably can watch Terrifier 3 in isolation, but I would argue you definitely need to see at least Terrifier 2. The film's less than 2 hours. It is very funny, as silly as that sounds. It is very gory. The kills are right there front and centre, but there is a comedy to Art the Clown that makes it, I don't want to say it's okay, but it makes it fun, if you know what I mean. He delivers fun at the same time as terror, so I had a really great time. It's covered in Christmas iconography. This isn't a film like Die Hard that's got a Christmas tree in the background and a bit of tinsel in the corner and everyone says, oh, it's a Christmas film. This is 100% 100% a Christmas movie. I hope Terrifier 4 and 5 continue this tradition. We're definitely getting a Terrifier 4. If you're new to the world of Terrifier, viewer be warned in advance. Art the Clown, in my opinion, is heavy stuff, but he is everywhere to stay, so why not go and check him out? So, with that being said, until the next video, stay scared.
Images that wake me up screaming. Ruined our lives is still out there, and you want to know how I'm coping? You guys are all the same.